The Emerging Enterprise Awards are brought to you by OCBC, Asia's best SME bank, and the Business Times.
Acne care used to be something people hid, but one Singapore startup decided to flip that completely by turning pimple patches into bold, colorful accessories that people love to wear. That's Dodo Ventures, the team behind Dododots, the first fully colored FDA-approved pimple patches that have gone viral across Asia-Pacific, the Gulf region, North America, and beyond. With constant new drops and exclusive collections for retail partners, they've turned a simple skincare item into a global, culture-shifting brand. This year, that creativity and rapid growth earned them a win at the Emerging Enterprise Awards 2025. Joining us today are Esther Erin, co-founder and chief marketing officer, and Ethan Wong, co-founder and chief operating officer of Dodo Ventures, here to share their journey, what this recognition means, and where they're headed next. Good morning to the two of you.
Good morning.
Hi, morning. We're so excited to be here today.
Yeah, glad to have you on. To start with, can you briefly describe your business and its objective?
Okay, so Dododots are the first fully colored pimple patches in Singapore. And basically, we just sell acne patches in different colors and shapes. So before this, like many years ago, conventional pimple patches are usually circular and transparent, but we're the first in Singapore to create, different patterns, different IPs, and different cute little cats, butterflies, all different shapes on the face. Yeah. And we're 100% hydrocolloid clinical grade pimple patches.
So Dodo Ventures has a very unique brand personality, and the two of you bring incredible energy to it. Was there a defining moment in your entrepreneurial journey that shaped how you built Dodo? And what inspired you to take the leap and enter the Emerging Enterprise Awards?
Well, I think from the start, we have always been very energetic. From one workplace to another, we carry that spirit. So fun fact is, Esther and myself, Ethan, we both came from the same company. And so prior to that, we were working together really, really well already. And we just carried this energy throughout. And what actually inspired us to take part in this Emerging Enterprise Award is that we have been long-term users of the OCBC services. So they were actually the first bank to extend this help to us as a small business here in Singapore. And since then, we've just built a really good relationship using different kinds of services. So when our relationship manager reached out asking if we want to take part in this, we were just thinking, why not? Let's just give it a go.
Yeah, excellent. And you ended up winning an accolade. So tell us which award you won at the Emerging Enterprise Awards and what winning it means to you and your team at Dodo.
So we were the finalists for the Emerging Enterprise, and we also won the Emerging Enterprise Award, competing against an estimated 600 businesses across 4 countries. So it was crazy. It was insane. The reaction when we won that was just tremendous. There are so many talented businesses out there. Frankly speaking, as they were announcing 2 out of the 3 winners, we thought that, there goes our chance, it's okay, we had a good fight. But we were surprised, really, when they suddenly announced our name as the last winner of this category. And I just remembered the whole night being unbelievable because we knew we put in a good amount of effort and preparation. It's just that to win it that way was just so exciting and so intense. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. And part of the award involved a pretty rigorous selection process. We had site visit assessments. We had the judges' pitches. So it wasn't a walk in the park by any stretch. What stood out to you from that journey, and how did those stages shape the way that you have reflected on your business?
So, Ethan and I, we're not new to pitches. We are usually really we don't have any fear of public speaking. We can speak to a crowd, but this is the first time, we had this whole Shark Tank moment where we walked into a room and there was a panel of judges. Yeah, yes, we did have a site visit. So the OCBC team, they came down to our warehouse the first time when we were shortlisted for the first 100 companies. But the next one was in Singapore, so we flew down all the way to Singapore to do the judging panelist session, and that was really nerve-wracking because we were practicing till 2, 3 a.m. at night in the hotel. Just practicing to the wall. We're like, hey, judges, I feel like this really helped us kind of put ourselves out of the comfort zone because before this, we usually just speak to 2 to 3 people. In panel sessions, you don't really get judged. More like they ask really, really difficult questions, right? So this time they asked us questions that we ourselves were like, well, we were put in the spot. We're like, okay, these questions were never asked before in the business. So it helped us think better and it challenged the way like how we run our business.
What inspires a lot of your playful ideas, and how do these products reflect the identity and the values of Dodo Ventures as a brand?
Well, these playful ideas were inspired by our long-term insecurity. Being acne sufferers ourselves, we know the kind of effect it has on you mentally, emotionally, even physically. So we knew when we came out, we wanted to create a product that goes against the entire narrative. So billions have been spent for people to advertise that having acne is a really bad thing. And then our brand comes in and we just do the complete opposite. It's fun. Instead of having this redness in your skin, you could actually put on a cat patch, a butterfly patch, like what Esther's putting on now. And that is exactly how we managed to turn the narrative. And I think quite a lot of people, especially people around our age, like the younger adults, they would relate to this mission. They would say, this is something interesting, and this probably turn heads and introduce them to the brand. Yeah.
As a startup, you're also, I'm sure, no stranger to obstacles along the way. So my next question is, what have been the most defining challenges in your growth journey, and how did you and your team navigate them?
I think one of the biggest challenges for us is both Ethan and I, we have no experience running a business. We are both scientists. We were doing medical and microbiology. So we understand cells really well, but we don't understand like business. What more business we have finance, accounts, and P&L projections, all of that very, very crazy stuff for us as a first-time business owner. So the challenge was navigating through, the entrepreneurial journey without any mentorship, any connections, and we didn't have any funding. So we are self-funded since day one. So it was a huge challenge for us to scale the business with no proper guidance. But along the way, we realized that okay, together with our team, we made mistakes together, we learned from that together, and then eventually we got to where we are today, just with a really, really positive mindset.
Yeah, and I'm sure that positive mindset is one that you will want to carry into the future. So what is the next frontier you are looking to venture into? What's the bigger vision you're building towards in the coming years?
Well, we always joke that the big goal at the end is to become a unicorn, which is a privately owned $1 billion valuation company. But that just speaks to the kind of mindset and timeframes that we're looking in. Like, we don't look at performance quarter by quarter. We always look at it year by year. And just doing that simple shift has been the difference maker altogether, because we don't think of what's going to happen next month. We think of what will be the impact if we don't do something next year. So that is kind of the goal that we set for the team. Well, just to note, it is an random arbitrary number. It doesn't exactly have to be that, but this propels us to think a bit bigger. So in terms of the product range that we have, currently it is all patches, and tentatively we want it to stay the same, just all patches. As long as the core idea is tackling insecurity, then we are perfectly fine navigating in just this environment alone.
And circling back to the Emerging Enterprise Award, it is a pretty significant milestone. How do you see the recognition shaping your company's next chapter in terms of growth, innovation, as well as leadership?
I think first and foremost, winning this award from OCBC and just getting featured in Business Times itself has been a tremendous, tremendous recognition. So that is something that we already have friends and connections coming in, texting us saying, congratulations on winning. Secondly, getting the award, which includes like 200,000 SGD interest-free loan, also helps us to expand into new markets or existing markets. So we just entered the Australian market. So we are planning to deploy some of that funds for Singapore and Australia. There has been amazing panelists in RSM and MasterCard. So we have people from there coming over to talk to us, to challenge us to think deeper about the business. So that has also reshaped how we have thought about our operations over the past 2 months since hopping on to this panelist session. And then last but not least is just the credibility that comes with this award. So prior winners, we got to understand that brands like iJuice and Secret Lab were winners of this thing. So it makes us think how big and how far can we dream to be able to follow along that way in their footsteps.
Yeah, and that's something that aspiring entrepreneurs will be thinking as well. How can we take part in the Emerging Enterprise Award and succeed the way that Dodo has? So the final question is, why would you encourage young companies to take part?
I would encourage a lot of young companies to take part. Firstly, because OCBC really helps like small enterprises like ourselves. When we started out, we didn't have the cash flow to go into retailers in Singapore, and because of OCBC, they provide this safety net for us, like knowing that we have the financing tool and all that things. So definitely, like it is a bank we want to support, and as we mentioned earlier, it challenges you to think differently. It pulls you out of your comfort zone actually to go and pitch, prepare for your Shark Tank moment, as you said earlier on, and basically think about how you answer questions. Because whenever you're in the company, you don't get questions like this where everyone's kind of like-minded, right? But when you go out of the company and you go into pitches and awards like this, you kind of like challenge yourself to think, okay, how can we answer the judges properly? How can we, put everything that we've done in the business in the last 4 years in just 15 minutes? Like, how do you share everything about business in just 15 minutes? Make it like impactful and concise. So definitely a lot of young entrepreneurs out there and young businesses, I would say, take part in the OCBC Awards, because not only will you think differently, but it also challenges you to become better as a company.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's inspiring for them to see how a bold idea that's backed by creativity and grit can grow into a global brand. Well, Dodo Ventures is clearly just getting started, and I'm sure we all look forward to watching the brand continue to scale and reinvent the skincare space. Esther, Ethan, thank you for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you so much for having us. We're so happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, you're welcome. We were speaking with Esther Erin, co-founder and chief marketing officer, and Ethan Wong, co-founder and chief operating officer of Dodo Ventures. Stay with Money FM 89.3.
The Emerging Enterprise Awards are brought to you by OCBC, Asia's best SME bank, and the Business Times, recognizing the young, bold ambition of businesses in Asia under 10 years old.
Money FM